So in the brand new update, Vorticon did add a lot of things, including the Comanche Hunter, the EOD armor, and the underwater rifle. However, with this, we have also received some changes to a few vehicles which we have heavily been requesting for the developers to buff, and one of them actually increased the Ekranoplan. And today I'm actually going to be going through some changes which were made to it. So firstly, the Ekranoplan has actually received some nice buffs to its health and its overall damage, because I believe its health used to sit around 6,000, however here they buffed it by at least 1,500. Keep in mind that everything that's tested today is also max level. And I do believe a buff of at least 1,500 health is genuinely pretty huge for this thing, because before it was losing DPS exchanges to so many things. However, it actually has the similar health to the Independence now, and almost the same as the Zumwalt, which is honestly kinda crazy to me. But anyways, along with this, the things which I have also noticed that developers have actually buffed for this vehicle is, for one, its damage against the ground vehicles seems to be slightly better than what it was. The ground vehicles and tanks I'm talking about here, you're able to shred them even quicker than before, except I kind of failed to see how that's really that useful, and the simple reason why is simply because you're not gonna be hitting your cannon against those vehicles because they're not gonna be fighting you in this way. That's just not how combat goes in this game. However, I have noticed that the gun itself can now do a lot more solid damage against ships, because I believe it can shoot for slightly longer now, and its damage, I believe, is slightly higher. Because now I'm able to leave the Zumwalt at around 30% after shooting it with all of my ammunition. And when we take a look at the guided missiles, which unfortunately I don't think they've been buffed against anything else except for the ships either, and funny enough, I am able to deal at least 50% of the Zumwalt's health on average. So if we actually put this thing against the Zumwalt here in a 1v1 scenario when they're just having a DPS exchange, yes, the Ekranoplan will still lose, however, it will be able to actually have a better chance at winning than before. Like right here, I'm gonna also put the Zumwalt against the Ekranoplan like a 1v1 scenario where they kinda try to utilize their strengths. So here the Ekranoplan is trying to use its speed in some way, and then the Zumwalt is kind of using its brute force, and funny enough, in this exchange we ended up drawing, and that's really because we both kind of run out of ammo, and also I got stuck in the terrain, which is something you kind of have to worry about with the Ekranoplan. But if I had to answer your question, is this thing worth it right now? Is it that good of a vehicle? It's definitely a good vehicle now, but it's not something that's really super versatile and still remains with a lot of its issues. It's just that it's a much more of a brute force vehicle than what it was before, which is pretty nice. But either way, I don't think it's still worth it. Now the next change which was made is that they kinda unnerfed the B1R regional. So as you guys remember, its missile reload speed was kinda bad after the nerf. I think they nerfed it a little bit too much. However, now if we take a look at its reload speed, let's see how it's gonna be like. Yeah, as you guys can see, this thing is able to reload at a much better pace now. I believe they kinda lowered its reload speed from like 40 seconds to at least like 15 to 20 on average. I believe here that will be roughly around 15. So this thing is actually able to use its missiles much more efficiently now, but it's not broken like it was on release. And now lastly, they have also added support for metal auto clipping, and we have also received some bug fixes. Here is also a picture on the screen right now of all the things that were fixed. Do let me know if a lot of these are actually like major bug fixes. I'm not really too much into bugs, so I'll probably not be able to explain this to you guys in too high detail, but I also don't want to make this video too long. Anyway, for the time being, those were all the changes that were actually made in this brand new update. Not too many balance changes, but the vehicles which we asked to actually receive a buff have received a buff. Do they need more buffs? I don't think the B1R needs that many buffs, but the Ekranoplan needs some technical changes rather than statistical changes. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one.